Looking back at the Netflix films of 2022, there was something for everyone. You had comedies, awards contenders, documentaries, thrillers, indies, and horror films. In today's video, we will be sharing top 10 best Netflix movies of 2022. But before continuing further, kindly hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon, so you never miss any update from us. Let's continue with our video. Number 10. Spiderhead. 1 month after Joseph Kosinski won the box office with Top Gun: Maverick, Netflix dropped his highly unusual science fiction thriller Spiderhead. Its emphasis on scrutinizing tech geniuses felt particularly timely, and the premise of a test subject tormented by a strange inventor felt particularly timely in 2022. Hemsworth's scenery-chewing performance is worth watching on its own, but Kosinski shows the same incredible action filmmaking techniques he did in Maverick in a confined, intimate environment. The film stars Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, and Jurnee Smollett. The story follows inmates in a luxurious prison who participate in experiments involving mind-altering drugs. Principal photography took place in Australia in 2020. Spiderhead premiered in Sydney on June 11, 2022, and was released on Netflix on June 17. Number 9. Bardo. Alejandro González Iñárritu has never been a filmmaker who has avoided excess, and Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, may be his most self-aggrandizing film to date. However, it's also his most sincere and personal. The story of a documentary filmmaker wrestling with his critics, his new fatherhood, and his heritage in Mexico feels as if Iñárritu is contemplating the issues that he's dealt with personally. It's a fascinating work of self-therapy on the part of a filmmaker who can always deliver spectacle. This film is a journey that reflects on the concepts of life and death, of transition, of life as a dream, and of all the illusions that manifest in our lives. Bardo in Tibetan means intermediate state, and indicates the condition of transition between two states. Number 8. Windfall. Windfall may feel like a leftover from the pandemic era of intimate thrillers shot in isolated locations, but the film's minimalist approach only makes it more thrilling. Jason Segel gives a hapless, yet emphatic performance as a robber who desperately tries to negotiate with a kidnapped billionaire and his girlfriend. There's a great sense of brutal humor that arises from their award interactions, but the dark twist the film takes during its third act serves as a cautionary reminder of the reality of economic inequity. A wealthy CEO and his wife come to their vacation home only to discover a burglar. The CEO agrees to give the burglar money and forget about the ordeal without calling the police, but the burglar locks them in a sauna. Returning to his car, the burglar spots a camera recording him. Number 7. Munich, The Edge of War. Sometimes you just need a great dad movie, and Munich, The Edge of War is the perfect old-fashioned World War II chamber piece that works as an informative and entertaining glimpse at the past. The always likable 1917 star George McCade gives a surprisingly nuanced performance as Hulagat, a British agent tasked with negotiating with old friend, the German worker Paul von Hartmann. Can a friendship prevent bloodshed? Munich, The Edge of War looks at these underseen heroes whose story is often left out of historical accounts. Set in the fall of 1938, Hitler prepares to invade Czechoslovakia, and the government of Neville Chamberlain desperately seeks a peaceful solution. A British civil servant and a German diplomat, former classmates, travel to Munich to discuss peace. Number 6. The Stranger. Undercover cop movies deserve a comeback, and The Stranger might be the closest thing we'll get to Donnie Brasco in 2022. Based on a shocking true story, the film follows the Australian policeman Mark Frame as he explores a child abuse case related to the suspect Harry Teague. While it's simply a riveting two-hander where Frame is constantly on the edge of being discovered, Edgerton's exploration of the anxiety of being a parent showed that the film had a heart too. Mark, an undercover cop, forms an intense, intimate relationship with Henry, a murder suspect, in an attempt to earn his trust and get a confession, risking both of their lives in the process. Number 5. The Good Nurse. The true story behind The Good Nurse is so shocking that if it was fiction, it would have been dismissed as completely unbelievable. While it would have been easy to sensationalize the story, director Tobias Lindholm creates an earnest procedural that follows the nurse Amy Lauren as she steadily realizes that her co-worker, Charles Cullen, may be a serial killer. Chastain taps into the anxiety of being a mother and uncovering her employer's cover-ups, but it's Redmayne's hauntingly creepy performance that deserves serious award season attention. Nurse Amy Lauren is shocked when Charlie Cullen, one of her colleagues, is found responsible for the murder of dozens of patients over a period of 16 years, across 2 states and 9 hospitals, without being charged. Number 4. Blonde. Blonde may be the most controversial film of the year, and many may have tuned the film out entirely due to Andrew Dominik's callous remarks to the press. Yet there is incredible craftsmanship that has been buried. Blonde isn't as much a biopic about Marilyn Monroe as it is an analysis of her image and what values were projected on her by a cruel, unsympathetic society. Ana de Armas' performance is graceful and moving, and Dominik recreates moments of terror that feel plucked right out of Twin Peaks' Fire Walk with Me. What you have to understand from the start is that Blonde is an exploration of the idea of Marilyn Monroe. It touches on a series of actual factual events as a roadmap, from her movies to her marriages. Number 3. The Wonder. Florence Pugh may have been getting more attention for the Don't Worry Darling controversy than anything else this year, but she's much stronger in this underrated British independent film. The Wonder follows the 19th century English nurse Lydwright as she struggles to care for a child, forcing herself to fast to the point of malnourishment. Like The Good Nurse, this is a film that could have easily been either stigmatizing or sensationalized, but it's a respectful examination of mental health issues that benefits from one of Pugh's best performances ever. Set in the Irish Midlands in 1862, the story follows a young girl who stops eating but remains miraculously alive and well. English nurse Lydwright is brought to a tiny village to observe 11-year-old Anna O'Donnell. Tourists and pilgrims massed to witness the girl who is said to have survived without food for months. Number 2. Hustle. Adam Sandler has made several standard Happy Madison movies at Netflix, but surprisingly he took on a serious role as a basketball scout in Hustle. It's great to see Sandler make the type of movie that you don't really see anymore. It's an old-fashioned, inspiring sports drama that puts its emphasis on the characters. Sandler takes himself seriously and shows his genuine love of the game through his chemistry with breakout star and actual NBA player Juancho Hernangomez. After a down-on-his-luck basketball scout discovers an extraordinary player abroad, he brings the phenom back without his team's approval. Number 1. Senior. Robert Downey Jr. pays tribute to his late father in this documentary, chronicling the life and eclectic career of pioneering filmmaker Robert Downey. Senior is the type of movie that makes you immediately want to call your parents. Robert Downey Jr. had intended to make a documentary about his father's very odd films and career. But this turns into a riveting look at healing and acceptance as Robert Downey Sr. suffers from a terminal diagnosis. The banter between these two idiosyncratic artists gives the film an enjoyable sense of humor. And the intimacy that is captured could only be done so by a family that gets to tell its own story. While it's hard to imagine a movie about death to be inspiring, which one is your favorite movie? Let us know in the comment section. We hope that you have enjoyed our video. Kindly give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss any update from us. Thanks for watching the video.